Det kan tit betyde meget, hvor langt ned man kommer. Der, så er det. Og så er det jo helt stille listen hen over bunden, så var den der med det samme.
Hello there. Today we're gonna tie a pike fly, and a fairly large one in that, and I'm gonna use this pike fly to demonstrate some new and very cool materials. It's gonna be one like this, a blackish brownish thing that's well, basically it's primarily designed for the brackish pikes in Møn and Stee and stuff like that. But of course these black and brownish colors are good other places as well. What we're going to use today is we're going to start off by using some of this. This is a body tubing, a very cool material for making large flies and for giving large flies a fairly bulky profile, which will make this fly swim very erratic in the water and simply just, you know, resemble a jerk bait very much in its behaving patterns. So. This is the very last part of one of these tubes. I've tied a lot of these, and I take a piece that is about 6-7 centimeters long, something like that, and then I take my lighter to it and simply just melt the ends, so the ends will stick more together. Then I have this piece of tubing here, and as you can see, it's hollow. So I've made quite a lot of quite sound base of tying thread here. And what I'm gonna do is basically I'm gonna pull the tube over the tube and then tie it down right there using some force and some thread like this. And then I'm gonna take my sabagap. This is basically how you make the head as well, because this is gonna be two parts. There's gonna be two bundle of the heads here, and they're gonna overlap and simply encase all of the materials inside them, and simply in that way also protect all your materials. So what you do is basically you just pull this backwards and then forwards once again, like so. Tie this down at the same spot. I don't know what is happening here, but that was a bit annoying. That can happen sometimes, you know, the thread breaks like this. Just gonna continue off where I left off, like that. And all of this is, well, not gonna be seen anyhow, so simply I clamp down on this, cut away all of this stuff. But since, you know, it's a pike fly and all this is gonna be covered in bucktail and marabou and, or not marabou in this one, but a lot of other stuff. If you want, you can cut the ends off here, but use the bottom part of your scissor. Don't use the tip. This is quite coarse, quite rough. This body tubing here. So I'm using, as you can see, I'm taking extra care to cut as far down on my with my scissors as possible, also to get more force like that. And well, basically I just add some super glue here to some sabagap here to make sure that this stays exactly where it's placed, like that. Just apply some glue. Glue is nice. And these glues with the brush in are very good. So basically you just make a whip finish here. And it's a good trick to actually be able to do it with your hands. You take your, well, this finger, you know, I'm sorry about that. You take the middle finger, I know, and then you put it on the thread like that, and then you take your pointing finger and put it on the thread like this. So you have 2 fingers on the thread here, and then you make the triangle by simply making the triangle. The same as with the whip finish. You put it up to here, like so, and then you make another knot, and then another knot, and so on. I don't know if that explained it very well, but yeah, try it a bit. See if you can get it right, like so. And then I simply just pull this backwards. I try to do that as evenly as possible, and as you can see now, you have this corona, this very big bulky head here, that is gonna ensure that all the materials stand really nicely out from the tube, to ensure that you get a big volume on your fly, like that. Okay, so next up you can do a lot of stuff, but basically I'm just gonna tie down some bucktail, I think. Because this actually could replace bucktail entirely, but I must say I'm so fond of bucktail I'm gonna use some anyway. Because bucktail, well, let's face it, it's just a pretty cool material for all pike flies. But the head here ensures you have a very large diameter of the fly at any time, and it will never collapse like the bucktail sometimes can when you pull and stuff like that. So again, I'm gonna tie the bucktail down as normal. That means the other way around, like this. Simply gonna push it all the way back to the head. So let me see if I have. And then basically I'm gonna push it backwards here, and then tie in front of it, to make it stand out even more over the tube here, like so. And with the tying thread, I'm tying up to the bucktail, so you get I tie up to the bucktail, so you get a bulk of tying thread just in front of it, which force it backwards. And then you have the corona of the tubing and the corona of the bucktail. Then it's the big fly fiber's turn. Big fly fiber coming up. If I can locate it on my oh so neat and tidy tying desk here. Come on, there it is. Again, a good old product that you probably have, if you've seen the videos before, you will know that I'm a bit of a fan of this stuff. It's almost a certain ingredients in any of my pike flies. I cannot stress how this is just the cool stuff. So I take a bundle of black big fly fiber. Again, try to distribute it so it's gonna be all around the tube here, like so. And then actually I'm gonna tie this down so it's gonna get a bit further up here. So I have about, let's say, 1/2 centimeter or something like that, maybe 4 millimeters of tying thread on top of big fly fiber. Like that. Gonna cover the big fly fiber here a bit more, like so. And then I'm gonna tie in the second head. You could of course wait a bit, but I think to tie in the second head here is good. And as you can see, there's a fairly large amount of tubing inside one of these packages, so you have for well, quite a lot of flies. Take a bit longer piece this time, maybe 7 centimeters, something like that. Again, it's important to simply to just melt the tubing ends here, perhaps doing while holding it a bit together, like so. So simply melting the tube end here. Oh, that was probably maybe a bit too much. I closed the goddamn tube now. Just gonna cut this open, like so. And then I simply just take the tube here and force it over the tube. Like that. And that's why I made quite a decent amount of tying thread here to ensure that when I start tying this down, that my tying is actually going to be on top of some tying thread, because otherwise this will simply move around. But it stays there now. This is where it will be. Like so. So I have the tubes pointing the other direction, and then we can use the rest of the stuff we're gonna do. And first up, I'm gonna use a new flash, because I want this to be a subtle and a silent, not a silent moving, because it will move some water, but I want this to be a subtle fly, something that can work on the days where the fish don't seem to take the sparkling flies. So I'm gonna use the new flashabou magnum in matted gold, which is shiny but really not shiny. So it's kind of dull in the color, but that can be a very, very effective and a very, very good thing on some days, and in some waters, especially in waters where there have been a lot of fishing going on with regular flies. Then stuff like this can be the only thing that works, because the pikes have seen so many so many shiny stuff that they actually know that all that blinks, all that flashes and simply looks like, you know, a carnival festival or something like that, hurts if you try to eat it. So they tend to be wary of the really flashy stuff and simply prey on other stuff, because they have simply, I don't know if you can say learned, but it seems to be that way, that in waters that has a very high number of fishermen, fly fishermen, the pikes simply get wary and they get, if you were a trout fisherman, you would say educated, but I don't know if I would call a pike educated. Well, maybe the big mamas can be educated, but that seems to be the truth, that the pikes simply can learn to avoid certain types of flashy and shiny baits. Then I'm gonna take some saddle feathers. I'm gonna wait with those actually. I'm gonna do this one first. Then I take another type of flash to add some more contrast again. This is the magnum flash, but this is the magnum in grizzly gray. A nice color. Again, a dull flash, which means a flash that do not flash as much, but it has the same properties and the same feel as the ordinary or the holographic flashabou magnum. I'm gonna do that exactly the same. Tie a bundle of this down here again. Try to distribute it all the way around, like so. Like that. This feels good. Looks nice, and to give this a bit more volume and a bit more volume and look a bit more bulky in the water, I'm gonna take some Icelandic sheep. And I don't know if you can get the gist, but this Icelandic sheep is actually a pretty cool material. It's a natural material, so it will soak up some water, but we can do a lot to prevent that. So I'm taking a fairly large bundle. As you can see, these packages are just, well, huge. So I'm gonna take a bundle of this, and as you can see, it's very much more dense in the bottom part than in the tips. So you can either just simply try to pull this out with your hands while holding on to the longer part, or you can take a brush if you have one. This is a future fly brush I use here. So I simply just brush this thoroughly to get it as nice and prepared as possible, like so. Again, try to distribute it all the way around. Oops, sorry, there's glue. Leave my bobbin alone, like that. And if you want now, you can add some hackles, some saddle hackles. I'm gonna add some, but it's not for this pattern. It's not completely necessary. I've just got, if you watch this when it's launched, this video, then I can tell you that I've just got a new shipment of these, and the problem with getting saddles for pike is that whenever you order some, loads of them will be simply not in a quality that is worth selling. So what I do is I always handpick every single saddle that I have in the shop. So every single saddle I've had it out of the bag, I've looked it over, and I've approved it for a sale, because when you out there trust me with your money to buy stuff, and especially stuff like that is as expensive as saddles and stuff like that, I need you to rely on that I know what quality is, and that I can see the difference between something that is not worth your money and something that is. So know that if you buy a saddle from me, I will guarantee you that I've actually had that saddle in my hands, looked it over, and seen that the quality of this is worth the money you are paying. I'm not saying that there is not that it's not possible that there can be difference anyway. I'm just saying that I have a very keen sense of what is what a saddle like this should cost, and the number of feathers that should be on there. Of course, some of these are so outstanding that probably they should be more expensive, and some of these are not so exceptional. But I guarantee you that these saddles that I have will be worth your money. Otherwise, I simply would not send them. It's as simple as that. Okay, so now we come to the finishing part here, and basically what we do is we take all this stuff here, all this here, and fold it backwards like this. Take the tube, fold that backwards as well, all the way back here, like so. Fold it up here, tie it down right there. Whoops, I didn't get all of them. I didn't quite catch all of them. Sorry if I messed you up there. I didn't mean to strike you or anything. Like so. And then simply clamp down on this. Tight, tight, tight. Do we finish? Cut off, and as you can see here, I need to cut some of these off in order to, and I use the bottom part of the scissor here. So I take the scissor and simply pull the scissor down the length of the material, so I can isolate only the tubing part here. Cut the tubing off, like so. Like that. Then I'm gonna apply some super glue. The stuff that's also why it's nice that it has this this fairly easy lid here, and so like that. And then I'm gonna push the head backwards. Like that. And there you have it. An insane amount of bulk. Which is still very, very light, and all your materials are captured between these two, as you can see, between these two cones of nylon, which means that your fly will last very much longer. Your materials will not get torn and shredded from the pike as easily, and the only thing that's left now is simply to apply the eyes. And in order to apply the eyes, you need some adhesive, and I've tried a lot of different super glues, but nothing of that seems to work out for me. So what I use is I simply use some of the good old faithful epoxy. So I take this is a 2-component glue, which means you have to mix it first. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take some of the resin and some of the resin and some of the hardener. I'm gonna mix the two with a match. And be careful not to get any of this on your hands, because this is quite frankly a bit of a toxic product. So I'm gonna mix it up here on my mixing thing here, like so. Make sure that you mix it a lot, so you get all of the hardener into the resin, and also if you add a bit more hardener than resin, you will be sure that this will settle nicely. So I take a bit of this and apply to the head here, like that. And then I'm gonna take my eye. I'm gonna use a silver, gold, and black one for this fly. And as if you noticed, I did not clamp down on it with my fingers because of the epoxy. I simply just dropped it from some height onto the head here, like so. I'm going to take a bit more epoxy and simply just glue around the edges of this and glue over the eye to ensure that it sticks there. Like so. Oops, there is some hair there, as you can see. And then of course I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. But well, you don't need to see that. But well, basically this was a tutorial for showing you this cool body tubing, how to use that, and also to let you know that there are some new flash without flash out there. Both the magnum in grizzly color, but also the magnum in matted gold. A very cool color, something that's very great that Hedron has made available. I'm very pleased with that. I think it's also a lot of the reason why Hedron actually did this is due to Nicklas Bauer. He has been looking for this for a long time, and he talked to the guys at Hedron. So I cannot take credit for that. That is Nicklas Bauer. And also, if you have not checked out Nicklas's YouTube channel, then definitely go do so, because he's doing some very awesome stuff. So check out Nicklas Bauer on YouTube if you haven't done so already. He has some wicked flies, some cool ideas, and I owe a lot of my flying and my fly tying and my ideas to him. So, well, basically that was it. A cool blackish pattern for the brackish water and the badass pikes. Thank you for tuning in.